If you're a mid-level to C-suite leader who wants to own your growth and figure out your next small, brave move to achieve your leadership goals, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Small Brave Moves podcast, a weekly deep dive on how to be braver in leadership and in life for exceptional results. I'm your host, Nicole Bianchi, best-selling author, certified master executive coach, NSA certified speaking professional, chief bravery officer, and tough talk expert. If you're ready to become a better, braver, and more authentic leader, let's dive in. Hi, friends and brave leaders. I'm so happy to have you back for another episode of the Small Brave Moves podcast. Today, we're talking about something every executive leader needs, but often struggles with: setting boundaries at work. Sound familiar? If you're leading a team, running an organization, or trying to navigate the constant demands of leadership, this episode is for you. Because here's the truth. Setting boundaries isn't just a nice to have, it's a necessity. And more than that, it requires bravery. Boundaries get a bad reputation. Too many leaders associate them with being rigid, unapproachable, or even selfish. But let's flip the script here. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about making sure you have the capacity to lead effectively. So think about it. If you say yes to everything, you're saying no to something else, often your well-being, strategic focus, or personal priorities. If you're always available, doors always open, then you're never fully present. If you don't protect your energy, you can't lead with clarity and impact. The best leaders aren't the ones who are constantly on call. They're the ones who are intentional with their time, energy, and focus. Here's where the bravery piece comes in, though. Setting boundaries isn't just about time management. It's about self-respect, clarity, and leadership effectiveness. So it means having tough conversations about workloads and expectations, saying no to things that just don't align with your priorities. Or maybe it's not just a no, it's a not now. Protecting your time so you can operate at your very best. And let's be real, setting boundaries can be uncomfortable at first. We worry about how others will perceive us, about seeming difficult or unavailable. But here's the thing. When you set clear boundaries, you actually earn more respect. People begin to see you as someone who values their time and leads with intention. So how do you actually do it? Let's talk about 3 small, brave moves you can start making today. Number 1, define your non-negotiables. What are those things that are essential for you to protect? Maybe it's uninterrupted deep work time, leaving the office at a certain hour, or not answering emails past a certain time. Get clear on what matters most. For me personally, protecting that deep work time at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day helps me avoid working in the evenings and preparing the evening before. So I never take meetings before 9 a.m. and I don't take meetings after 3 p.m. Why? That's my deep work time and getting through my tasks, my to-dos, my prep, my creative, my design. That allows me. Same thing with Mondays. I have a team meeting on Mondays. Other than that, it is a deep creative design time, whether it's writing content for my book, creating a new keynote speech, anything like that. And so I protect those because if I don't protect those, they'll get hijacked and others will toss meetings onto them. And then all of a sudden I'm running from meeting to meeting to meeting. When I found that I got into this cadence, it helped me be so much more productive and not working evening hours. So think about what is most urgent for you and what matters the most. That for me was a game changer. Number 2, communicate clearly. Don't assume people will just know your boundaries. Be upfront with your team about when you're available, what's urgent versus what can wait, and what your expectations are for communication, especially outside of normal hours. I was working with the CEO and her leadership team, and I'll never forget we're having a conversation which comes straight out of 5 Tough Talks about how we work. We're having a team alignment session, and a question came up from several members of her team around responding to emails on Sundays. And she looked really concerned, and it was so interesting. She said, listen, I'm a recent empty nester. I find Sundays to be my quiet time to kind of get up and get ready for the work week. Just because I'm responding to things or I'm sending out emails on Sunday, I don't expect a response. You see, everybody had began to take Sundays to respond to every email. So they felt they were on call on Sundays. And here the CEO wasn't expecting any sort of a response on Sundays. And so it was a misunderstanding that led to some tension in the team. So getting clear on response times, what do we do outside of work, is really, really essential. Number 3, hold the line. The real test of a boundary isn't setting it, it's enforcing it. When someone crosses a boundary, address it with clarity and kindness. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds a culture where boundaries are respected at every level. And I'll never forget, I was working with a leader who we had hired at my last role inside, and he was super clear. This is an executive leader. And he was like, I'm leaving every day at 4:30. Why? Because I want to coach my child's T-ball team. And what he was saying was, and this was outside of the norm for the work that we did as well. Like everybody worked until the work was done. So he's like, I'm leaving at 4:30. I'll check back in later on, see if there's anything urgent. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning. And he was super clear about it. And him modeling it for the rest of the organization gave others permission, right, around the boundary setting and what was most important for them. So let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Sometimes setting boundaries gets pushback. You might get resistance from colleagues, team members, even yourself, right? The guilt, the fear of letting people down, the worry that you're going to miss something important. But here's what I want you to remember. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're guidelines for how you work best. Protecting your time and energy makes you a better leader, not a less dedicated one. And the leaders who model boundaries create healthier, more sustainable workplaces for everyone. You cannot pour from a cup that is empty. So I want you to think about what's one boundary you need to set this week. Maybe it's protecting that deep work time. Maybe it's communicating your availability more clearly. Whatever it is, take that small, brave move. And if this episode resonated with you, do me a favor. Rate and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps more leaders find these conversations. And don't keep this to yourself. I'd love for you to share this episode with a fellow executive leader, colleague, or even your entire team. Let's build a leadership culture that values boundaries and brave conversations. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Small Brave Moves podcast. If you're wanting to take this work even deeper, I'm here to help. From engaging in inspirational keynote speeches to transformational coaching and workshops for leaders and teams, page-turning books, online courses, and enlightening leadership development retreats. There are so many ways that we can work together to take your leadership to the next level. For more information, check out the show notes, and let's do this together. One small brave move at a time. See you next week.